Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of our Timeline Park Contest. In this video I'm going to show you all the parks that were created for stage 5 of our Timeline Park Contest, which is a contest where all the players try to build a really nice park over the course of a year while adding something every month. Anyway, we had quite a few completed entries, quite a lot of players who are still in this contest. So I think it's a good moment to go over all of them. I'll go over them in alphabetical order. So I'll start with the park from 73. Okay, here's the park from 73. Now, if you follow this contest, you can see that now he has actually added a lot of land under his coasters and some supports over here. The park is still very wild. Lots of what looks like random stuff been added. Lots of big coasters. What I would advise 73 is instead of adding more wild stuff and wild landscape, instead try to focus on adding some nice looking buildings maybe and some nice details. Maybe some detailed stations for the rides would go a long way in making this park look a little bit nicer and a little bit less messy. Alright, here we see the stage 5 entry from Bags. Now something that he added over here is, a building here has caught fire, so this apparently was a warehouse storing some old movies. And we can see a little firefighting scene over here. This looks like a fire truck. And we can see some mechanics here, or actually firemen, who are actually trying to battle this fire. I really like this little scene, lots of fun little details here. My favorite is probably this ladder here on top with a little cart on top. Now over here also a little playground was added. I really like these contraptions here. It looks like a little merry-go-round with different vehicles. This looks like a picnic car. We can see a single space ring over here and some, what are they called? A swing set. And something else that was added in this entry was another movie set. I believe a gangster movie was shot here. And the tour bus actually also travels by this set. So yeah, it's fun to see another little movie set being added. And yeah, all these little scenes, all these little details, I think they make for a great new addition to this park. Okay, here's the entry from Cuzoolius. Now he added this area over here. So here we can see the Rainforest Cafe. And right next to it is this new ride called Cloudbreaker. Now I love this sign next to the ride. And he also added a backdrop. Now that's something I also like to do for these magic carpet rides. To add a backdrop made of scenery, usually made of walls. I think he did a great job on the color scheme of this backdrop. It looks really nice. And next to this ride we have this other ride. This looks like a shooting dog ride. You can see these monster trucks traveling around here. And you can see all these target scenery items here. So yeah, lots of cool little details here. Lots of nice scenes. We can see a waterfall here. We can see what looks like a little town here. We can see some treasure here. And here we can see a sign showing all the high scores from players. So yeah, lots of cool little details in this building. But what I like most is actually this sign here in front. This looks really cool. It's called Tarzan's Journey. You can see these two monster trucks parked here in front, also with these targets. I think this gives the people who are going to ride this thing a really good idea of what this ride is all about. So yeah, I think Cuzoolius made a wonderful addition here to his entry. Okay, here's the entry from Delta Akhlut. Delta Akhlut made this parking lot over here. You can see lots of cars parked. But yeah, it looks like they for some reason their fronts or backs are actually parked upwards. I believe they put bumps on the track. Maybe this was done to simulate the cars actually being parked sideways a bit. But yeah, the way these sprites works, they actually look like they're tilted. So it's I mean, in my opinion, it looks a little bit strange. Also, these cars, the cars that are parked next to each other, all have the same color. So, yeah, people's brains are really good at recognizing patterns. So I think this stands out a bit. So for sure, I think this parking lot can be improved quite a bit. But yeah, I do like the way the parking lot itself is structured. So the parking lot itself probably doesn't need any change. But I would definitely recommend chasing the cars on it. Maybe a few lights can be added to it as well. Over here we have a really cool car ride. I actually really like this ride. There's some advertisement next to it. Little gas station, cool looking station as well. So yeah, I really like the car ride. Great additions. Right here we have the park from Electerik. He actually replaced one of his previous rides. I don't actually remember what ride he replaced, but it was a ride over here. And he actually replaced it with a submarine ride. You can see the submarines travel around here. Yeah, you can see them go underwater here. And there's actually lots of sharks swimming around as well. You can see some ruins here underwater and lots of plants as well. Now, what I like is that the plants are not evenly spaced around, but they're made in clumps, which I can recommend to anyone putting underwater scenery. So yeah, just make some patches of foliage, and that looks much nicer than them all being spaced out evenly. But yeah, some cool stuff being built here underwater. Yeah, maybe it would have been nice to actually have some track here. But yeah, I think this works as well, since the park isn't too realistic to begin with. Yeah, we can also see a queue here. I really like this. So this queue actually has this fountain in the middle, holding up a submarine in the middle. Yeah, I think that's a really fun addition to the queue. It's always a good idea to decorate your queues nicely. Okay, here we have the park from Fidwell. Now, in the last entry, we could see the monorail was actually smashed up by some big aliens. And now the monorail is actually gone, since I guess we used this transport system, looks like. And instead, this monorail ride has been replaced with a ride for entertainment. So it's nice to actually see this park slowly converting into a place where people go to have fun. So yeah, this is actually a launched coaster. It's a really simple layout. Just gets launched here. Travels around this turn, has 2 humps before it goes back to the station. But yeah, I think this is a really nice addition to the park. Now, we could see aliens here in the previous stage. It looks like they have all been boxed in some sort of crystal structure. And over here we can still see the mining operation. At least I think this is a mining operation. You can see this machine here for digging. You can see all these crystals here. You can see what looks like an underground tunnel here for the guests. This looks like a map. But yeah, definitely some fun additions have been made here in the park. And I can't wait to see what this entry will look like in the next stage. Maybe some more attractions, who knows. Okay, here we have the entry from Herbart. In this stage, Herbart added an extra coaster to his park. Now, it actually is one of those Mebius style coasters, but with just one station. So yeah, both these trains will travel through the layout, but one of them will actually go around the station, and here it will meet up with a train that just leaves from the station, and then these trains will duel with each other. So actually, each train that leaves the station will actually go through the layout twice. Well, yeah, twice. It will actually go pass over both tracks before it returns back to the station. I always like these kind of layouts, although sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to time them nicely. But yeah, it looks like it's done here in a really nice way, as they always seem to be synchronized up pretty well. So yeah, quite a nice layout as well, and also nicely decorated. And behind here we can see this drop tower. Now there's a really bulky tower for this small track in the middle. So maybe it would be nice if there was a double or even triple track. I think this ride would not look weird with some more tracks. But yeah, that's just a suggestion from me since this tower is so bulky. But yeah, overall, I really like this addition. Alright, here we can see Bon Bon Land again, made by Jazz Anden. And he made several additions to the park in this round. Here we have the condo ride of the park. You can see a big tower here with the shoestrung ride with these bobsleigh vehicles. So it's always a classic to have one of these in your park. And what I really like about this, this new attraction, it's a recreation of a real one, and the real ride is actually themed to a junkyard. And I think Jess Ender did a nice job recreating that. And what I like most is actually the entrance sign for this park, with this arch, which looks like it's made of garbage. Another addition that was done to the park is this drop tower over here. Also looks really nice. Looks like some animals over here, or some snakes, since it's called Cobra something. Looks like some snakes with heads. Looks like quite a fun ride. Well, this whole park looks fun. And I believe another ride was added over here. It's called Klaptersken. Not really sure what the real ride was themed after. Kind of looks like some sort of snake. In Jess Hanna's story, he mentioned something about it wearing a hat, and that it had references to the Danish football team. Some really cool additions to the park in this entry. I believe he added another one, but I forgot what it was. The park is so big that it's easy to miss something. Just in general, I think this park looks amazing. Just so many cool details everywhere. And this park has so many whimsical and fun rides. So I think it's really cool that Jisan is actually recreating this park through the ages. Alright, here's the entry from MemesRCT. This stage he added a lot in this area here in the back of the park. This dive coaster is called Rock and Dive Coaster Face. I believe that was actually a name suggestion from me to call it Dive Coaster Face. I can't believe he actually went with it. Anyway, you can see lots of this flower power path. Usually I hate this path, but it actually doesn't look bad here. I actually quite like it. We can see lots of references here to music or rock and roll. I believe this is called the Rock and Roll Diner. I think it also fits here pretty well. And also we can see a go-kart track here in the back. It looks a little bit overgrown, maybe. It's kind of difficult to see the track, but still enough is visible for it. And I kind of like how he did the walls here. Looks like there's tires here in the middle, and this just this wall here surrounding the track around it. Now we can also see a big hotel here on the water. At least I think it's a hotel, freestyle music hotel. Yeah. Now the hotel base, I think it looks a little bit strange. Probably it needs a little bit of an island or a bit of a base surrounding it, just to make it look a little bit more sturdy. Because right now it's just sit here on sand, and it would definitely sink into the bottom, I think. And I think with a little bit of an island around it, I think it would generally just look a little bit better. I think this area here looks pretty nice. Okay, here's the entry from Nova. Now he added this coaster here in this new area of the park. He didn't actually open the coaster. I believe in the story there was some kind of setback. It was something about low attendance number, so they weren't able to do a big investment, or maybe they weren't able to finish the coaster in time. It's quite a simple layout. So here's the station of the ride. Here there's the lift hill, drop. here's another drop. Here's another curve. The end there's a helix. And then here it returns back to the station. I think this ride could have definitely used a little bit more exciting elements to it. Maybe add another extra helix over here. Maybe another helix here at the end. I think those are easy ways to just make the layout a little bit longer and a little bit more exciting looking. So right now it actually looks quite short. But yeah, that's just a suggestion from me. Now here we can also see this tower called, I believe it's called Project X. It actually looks pretty cool. I kind of like this structure. We can see an elevator here in the middle, and this above here is probably like an observation area for the guests. So yeah, I quite like this structure. Definitely a defining element here in the skyline of the park. And yeah, there's these nice support pillars supporting it. So I think it does, even though it is quite bulky here at the top, I think these support pillars here look wide enough that it doesn't look weird. Alright, here we can see the entry from Old School. Now, I love this park. All the additions here look very nice. And in this entry, Old School added this area here to the park. So it looks like this is actually a newly reclaimed land, because this area of the park wasn't here in the last stage yet. So we added this swing ride here. It looks amazing. Actually uses a spiral slide here as the base, and there's a broken down Enterprise here on top, to serve as the topper. I think that looks really cool. Also all these different elements to make the top. I think it looks wonderful. We can also see some other cool buildings here. So here's actually an arcade game. You can see some shops here. This one sells seafood. See an ice cream shop. And we can also see this pair of freefall towers here. I believe one of them is a drop tower, one of them is launched. And one of them is actually themed after the old firm Rangers. And this one's themed after old firm Celtic. Oh, they're actually both launched towers. Alright. Yeah, I think it's a really cool addition, and definitely fitting for a park that's in Scotland, and one that apparently doesn't want to take sides. And we can also see a really cool building over here. Looks like a restaurant. So yeah, even though it's a small addition to the park, it's just so nice and detailed. So it's probably one of my favorite Stage 5 parks. So yeah, wonderful job from Old School. Here's the park from Open Magnesium 2. No, yeah, it looks like he built a little bit of a wall around his park in this area. Looks like a new parking lot over here. Although it probably could definitely use an expansion. Over here we can see a boomerang coaster that was added. Not really sure why it has these curves here, or this change and slope angle here at the top. Because I don't know of any real boomerangs that do that. And in my opinion it does look kind of strange. But yeah, most something that you probably should avoid is it looks like we have a guest trap here. These guys cannot actually find the park exit, or they actually cannot reach it. So this definitely needs some sorting out before you start on the next stage. Okay, here we have the stage 5 from RAdrian 1994. I believe this coaster was newly added. Here we have Big Dipper. Now it sits quite nicely here in this corner of the park. You can also see this new dark ride called the Inferno. You can see some arcade games added here, and a little bit of a boardwalk next to the water. So I think this is a really cool area here. The wooden coaster is really close to another wooden coaster though. They do have different colors, of course, but I always like to have some distance between the two different coasters, or else it might look like they're actually part of the same coaster. Looks like they also both use the same kind of trains, so definitely don't recommend that. It is, of course, a little bit more twisty than this one. So there is kind of a difference between them. Now we can also see this old ride, which unfortunately has burned down, but we will probably see a cool replacement for this ride in the next stage. I hope so. Okay, here we have the entry from Savvy Adam. Now, he added some stuff on this side of the river. So here we can see this dinghy slide, or this pair of slides. I really like the color scheme that he used on them. So it's yeah, it has a nice green striped pattern. I think it works quite well. And here in the middle we can see a return track for these dinghies. We can also see a hot dog stall here. Looks kind of nice. But my favorite part of the entry is actually this roller coaster here. So yeah, it's like one of these Vekoma family boomerangs. It has some nice custom support here for the lift hill. And what I actually like most here is the colors for the queue and for the station. It's a really dazzling color scheme. I actually really like these covers for the queue here. They look really nice. And it's definitely nice for the guests to get some shade if it's hot outside. Yeah, also quite nice layout for the coaster. It just passes over the river here several times. And yeah, I think the color scheme for the coaster actually works quite well in this park. So yeah, definitely a really cool addition to the park. Alright, here's the entry from the Shack. Now, yeah, his park is really growing like crazy. Now in this episode he added this wooden coaster. It's actually a dueling coaster. You can see them race against each other here. I think the racing is done quite well. They always stay close to each other. So yeah, definitely some nice dueling. It also has some good interaction. You can see this bridge over these helixes here. Yeah, and that would definitely give the guests some nice views of this coaster as they pass under them. Yeah, really cool interaction moment here. We can still see some chairlifts here in the corner. I probably forgot to remove those. But yeah, he also added some other stuff in the park. But yeah, it was kind of difficult for me to actually find where the newly added stuff was. Since he didn't really add much of a story. I believe this ride here is also new with the motorcycles. Actually looks pretty cool. Uses a single rail coaster track and these motorcycle vehicles. Yeah, definitely a nice looking ride here. But yeah, for the next stage I definitely recommend the Shack to write a little bit more about the stuff that was added in the park. Just so it's easier for the viewers of the park to actually find the stuff that was added. Alright, here's the stage 5 park from UnoReverser Coaster. Now in this part of the park he paved up a lot more of the roads. So the park is definitely developing nicely. Yeah, I think the pavement here and the newly added stuff here just makes this these rides over here look really nice. Especially I like this small merry-go-round here. And the twist ride, I think it also looks really cool. We can also see a nice restrooms building here, which I really like. And of course we have this newly added Arrow Mine Train coaster here. It's a nice and compact layout. I also really like the way it's supported. Yeah, it just looks really nice. Not really sure what kind of vehicle was used here. Oh, it looks like the Hyper Coaster trains, but without the front vehicle. It actually looks quite like an Arrow mine train coaster train. So nicely decorated as well with these fences around it, these footers. And also a nice little scene here with a minecart and some dynamite next to the queue of the ride. So yeah, it's always a good idea, like I said earlier, to decorate your queues. And a little scene like this really helps in that regard. There's some nice buildings next to the ride as well. So yeah, UnoReverser Coaster really is on the right track with this park. And he definitely has some nice space to expand here in the future stages. Really nice work. Okay, here's the park from Seklar. Now in this round he added this coaster over here. It's called Hurricane. I believe he also added some extra rides over here. We can see an Enterprise and this swinging ship. Actually, to be fair, not really sure if these were added newly, but I think they were. And over here we can also see a pair of freefall towers. I believe one of them is a drop tower, one of them is actually a freefall tower. Now, these actually do look like the default colors for this ride. I always suggest not using the default colors if you can, because people will recognize the default colors. And it will just look a little bit lazy. So yeah, definitely a good idea to actually change up the colors a bit. Yeah, and of course I still recommend Seglar to actually maybe make this air-powered vertical coaster look a little bit nicer. I made some good tutorials on how to do that. We actually also did a contest on these ones. So I think definitely these rides can be made to look much nicer. And the wooden coaster probably maybe also could use a better layout. But yeah, I believe I already explained that in the stage 4 video. But yeah, I think the additions in this round were actually quite nice. I think this coaster fits here quite nicely, and I kind of like these buildings in these rides over here. Alright, those were all the parks that were made for stage 5 of the Timeline Park Contest. Now, I can't wait to see all these parks grow, and in approximately 1 month you will see what everybody built for stage 6. Alright, I hope you enjoyed watching all these entries, and yeah, a big shout out to my patrons who are supporting me. If you like this video, please consider giving this video a like. I would really appreciate it, and it would make me really happy. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.